stars with our hands and hearts, make them shine on us. Don't worry, don't let them. They won't stop standing, but soon they'll be carrying. Come from near and far, with their hands and hearts, 'cause it's time to stand up. I'm currently being changed, and I'm singing in the hospital. I truly want to, however, you know it's new. It's just not possible right now, regrettably, given the circumstances at this moment in time.
Hi, it's me, Andrej. Once I got a comment on YouTube. All right, the guy rides that motorcycle or whatever. But how can you trust someone who talks about motorcycles while wearing flip-flops? So I won't be talking about motorcycles, and now I'll tell you about the WallRav Stary Kisielin track is the next episode. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this is already the 5th in the series. Fast where it's slow, meaning Polish motorcycle tracks. This region of Zielona Góra, Stary Kisielin, is beautiful. When you drive here, unfortunately, it's by highway, unfortunately because it's fast, but also unfortunately because you can't see much. All around us, wonderful regions unfold, little lakes, forests, and things like that. WallRav Stary Kisielin is without a doubt the best karting track in Greater Poland, because in fact it's probably the only one, so I'm not surprised that people come here. Not only because it's the only facility, but also because it's a fantastic track to drive on. I've already been here. This is my second or maybe third time, and every time I'm happy to come back to Stary Kisielin, even though it's actually not very close to my home. So as always, I invite you to join me for a bit of driving. We have the junior team from the racing team with us, and here we are. Who is Gładki? Who is Gładki? What matters is that it's a great track, and we're gonna ride.
We can light a corner to shine through all the borders. Deep down, we are singing. But no, don't worry, don't worry. They won't stop staring, but soon they'll be carrying. I don't want trumpets, but you know, together with the option D.
Hi. Hello. My name is Andrzej, and yours? Rafał. And in full, Rafał Filipiak. Tell me, what is your role at the WallRav Race Center in Stary Kisielin?
I try to manage what happens here.
I'll tell you from what we've talked about before, there's quite a lot going on here, but let's start from the beginning. Summarize the history of this facility for us.
The facility was built in the 1970s, that is in 77. Construction began here, in 78 it was completed, and the first competitions and races took place.
So is this truly a fully fledged professional karting track?
Yes, of course, with international certification.
And you said there was some kind of reactivation in a certain year?
The company WallRav, where I work, took over the facility from the Polish Moto5 Association in 2008, and from then on things started happening seriously.
I see Polish capital managed by private ownership.
Exactly, that's exactly right.
That's great. How often can motorcyclists ride here?
Practically every day, because we have truck rentals, training sessions, all sorts of activities almost every day. Right now our occupancy is quite high. Until mid-October all our weekends are booked for training sessions.
You just told me something that fascinated me a few years ago. You said there were just a few motorcycle schools holding classes here. How many schools are there now?
More than 20.
So over 20 motorcycle schools conduct advanced riding technique classes here.
Exactly. Both racing and typical maneuvering courses, as well as those specifically for driving license training.
I suppose with 20 different schools, everyone can find one that suits them? We talked about this earlier too, because it's always like that. Backstage, at the beginning of the conversation, shoo that wasp away from you, please. Yeah, I've got something here. I also see much greater value nowadays in racetracks when it comes to training people at the most basic level.
Absolutely. The younger the participant, the easier it is for them to absorb certain things to use later on.
But the person can also be 40 years old and, for example, have zero track experience. And I think when they come here, their eyes are open to their eyes.
Exactly, and especially for women who are often usually afraid to come to a track like this because there's some kind of, I don't know, an inner fear or apprehension. But after just a single one-day training session, they just sign up for 2 or 3 more sessions to take part again, eagerly participating.
So just like in other places we've been, there are people who came once and then you see them many times after that.
Of course, that's true, and that's what happens most often.
There have been, I understand, some minor issues with noise levels here. They keep a pretty close watch on the noise. I think there's even a microphone on the main straight. Did I notice that correctly?
Yes, of course. There's dynamic measurement going on all the time. In addition, we have stationary measurement, which allows us to measure precisely the noise level of motorcycles, and not just them, because go-karts during competitions are also measured so as not to exceed noise limits and not to be a nuisance for the residents.
But from what I see, and I always repeat this so that people aren't afraid to come here with their motorcycles, if someone has a functioning exhaust system, even if it's a sports exhaust but with a DB killer, there's no problem here.
None at all. DB killer solves the issue up to 100 dB, and that's the noise limit we've set.
There's definitely something else I'd like to know, which I've forgotten now, but I'll remember it, and that part can be edited out.
Everything gets edited out.
Yes. People often ask the question, how much does, let's say, a basic hour of track riding or an afternoon session cost? What are the price ranges here with you? I mean,
So the track for customers with motorcycles with their own equipment is generally available here from Wednesday to Sunday from 8 a.m. to 3 or 4 p.m. depending on the conditions.
so we can just check the calendar to see if Sunday isn't booked and simply come over, say, good morning, I'd like to ride.
Exactly. In that case, the cost for an hour of riding is 40 ZW.
Sounds like a bargain.
Well, because it is a bargain, that's what I think.
I think so too. All the training sessions you mentioned, they're definitely listed in your calendar on the website.
Of course.
And then there's a link to the school, how to sign up, and so on and so forth. Thank you very much. I'm very glad you took up this track, because in this part of the country, where is the nearest other facility?
Poznan,
It's not close.
140 kilometers. So it's a bit. They are now coming to us, and from Rockwell clients, and from Opel, from Katowice, from Szczecin, from Gdańsk.
We're lucky that these expressways were built, because here really we happen to come from Warsaw, but you drive on the highway, you drive on the expressway, you exit, and I don't know if it's even 10 minutes from the expressway.
Right by the S3 route.
That's fine. Thank you very much. I'm rooting for it to keep growing just the way it is. I'm really delighted that the tracks, because with karting here, it's been up and down, but for the past few years, we've seen that it's heading in the right direction.
When it comes to motorcycles, absolutely, though karting is really going through a recession, there are few competitors for a country our size.
That's strange. You'd think that with Robert being out there, or maybe Robert just doesn't race enough.
Well, it doesn't seem to translate the way it should.
All right, thanks a lot. See you, I hope, more than once.
See you.
Bye.
Hi.
You're a local, right?
Yes.
If you don't know who Mateusz is, you have to watch the episode from Somchin. Representative of the Wyshik Racing Team Junior Squad, just to remind you, right?
Exactly.
I was surprised that few people in your class are interested in what you do.
Well, yes.
A bit unusual, because are you from Stary Kisielin here exactly, or somewhere around there?
Near Zielona Góra.
And from what you say, the adventure started here with karting, because karting is very popular on this track.
Yes.
And why did you have to go karting in the first place?
Since I had no professional experience yet,
And
karting is also a bit safer than motorcycles, so at first my dad said I should gain that experience with karting and then I could move on to motorcycles.
so just getting used to riding on a track, basically the rules of how to ride on a track and so on, right?
Yes.
You train on Moto 5 motorcycles, and besides that, you ride an R3, not a pit bike, right? You don't ride a pit bike, you ride an R3. Yes. How is it on the R3? Because here it seems it's amazing, because on the Moto 5 you look like it was just made for you. Perfectly. And this motorcycle seems a bit big, doesn't it?
Well, the Moto 5 is also a bit too small, and the R3 is a bit too big, but it's fun to ride.
I saw that you already changed the settings to fit you. So on Thursday, will you ride it with me in Poznan?
If I can, then I'd love to.
But what if Dad won't let me, or I won't let you have R3? It's the sponsor who allows you to ride the R3.
Well, that is you.
No! But you sponsored me. Enough. No! That's it. This is a sponsor. And this is the sponsor. Isla. Charlon is nowhere to be found. You have it, and that's a sponsor. Yeah, that's a sponsor who gets that you have to ride motorcycles. Tell me, do you prefer playing computer games or riding motorcycles?
Riding motorcycles?
Do you want to be a world champion?
Yes.
And when will you be one?
Well, I assume in about 8 years.
Well, that's pretty soon then. And will you learn to ride on the back wheel?
Yes.
And will you do it sensibly?
I'll try.
And what's the best ketchup?
Regpo.
Regpo? High five! See you in 2 days. We're meeting again! Aren't you tired of Uncle Simpson yet?
Number.
And again, this will happen on Thursday. Ahead of us, well, at Speed Day, what exactly will we be riding? We most certainly won't be riding at Speed Day. No, they definitely won't last for very long at all. Hey, how long have you had these motorcycles? About a year? Really?
Yeah, we bought them in Spain about a year and a half ago, and we've been trashing them ever since.
That's exactly how they look. Like they've been thrashed all the time. But I'm not surprised because of what you were doing here on this track today. I really liked it because I guess you ride here in Stary Kisielin most often, right?
Yes, it's the closest for us. This is our nearest track. It takes about an hour to get here, so we train here most.
How often do you come here?
I tried back then, about 2 months ago, to come twice a week, but now we're going with a gentleman to different tracks.
That makes me really happy. Tell me, young man, let's talk first about the difference between small motorcycles. So Moto 5 versus pit bike. Which one did you ride faster today?
On the pit bike 190, even though the Moto 5 is 250cc, and it's generally more comfortable to ride the pit bike. There's that slight difference. It goes faster, accelerates quicker, but over distance, it's a bit weaker.
Over long distances on the straights, right? Yes. When I saw you riding that bike today, right here on that hairpin, everything was happening with those wheels. Was everything bouncing around? Yes!
The front was sliding, the rear too, and the suspension wasn't working. You just couldn't handle it anymore.
We were just watching with your dad, looking at it and thinking what could be improved in the suspension settings here. And I came to the conclusion that the suspension is simply too weak now. For this riding style, the suspension itself just can't keep up, right? Yes. You probably know something about that too, don't you?
Yeah, when I was riding, maybe a bit less. I don't jump as much, but on a bigger frame, it won't jump because the suspension on that pinback is already better.
And the Moto 5, it rode really smoothly, but with the new Ha, you have to be much more precise, right?
Yeah.
And what do you prefer to ride here in Kisielin?
I think I prefer the pit bike, as I've been riding pit bike since I was little. I've gotten a bit used to the pit bike, but we actually have to ride Moto 5 type motorcycles to learn the right position. And for the European Talent Cup.
Well, like today you actually rode a bit on the R3 and also on the Moto 5. And I truly think it's about time for you to really get used to these types of motorcycles too, right?
Yes, I really enjoyed riding the R3. It's a bit faster than the Moto 5, but it's much heavier and harder to throw around on small corners, like on a karting track.
Compared to the Moto 5, when I watched how you rode the R3, I was shocked. Because for the first time in my life, the R3 seemed like a big, heavy motorcycle to me.
Yeah, I don't really know how much it weighs, but it's definitely much heavier.
On Thursday, I think at the next round, which is in Poznan, the R3 will really shine because it will be...
Yeah, it will be much better to ride on the big track.
I can't wait. All right, so see you the day after tomorrow.
Yeah,
Unless there is still a scheduled training session happening this coming Wednesday. Specifically, it's a supermoto training session. Yes, indeed. It is taking place in the city of Poznan. All right, then. Let us proceed and get going with our plans. I mean, no. Faster. Off a second. My inner ego can't handle that I'm old. You're young and you guys are still so fast. It's incredible. You guys are just at the beginning after all. How long have you been riding?
From 3 to 2 years since pit bike, but we were smaller, so we rode PW50s and
Okay. So how old were you when you first got on motorcycles? After
5 to 4 score.
you too?
Me, 6.
Cool. Me too. Except I had a Motorinka. Back in my day, there were no pit bikes. All right. I'll forgive you. I'm glad you ride so fast. See you in Poznan. Maybe at Supermoto on Wednesday and then again on Thursday. Hey, we ride until our arms fall off, right? Yeah. Thanks. Aga, who is Gładki?
That's a tough story. He has to introduce himself.
Who is Smooth? Who is Smooth Trans? Smooth Trans. Aga? I like it very much. That this is another new track of yours?
Yes, this is generally my streak of new tracks. We started from Somcino, there is Kisielin, tomorrow Silesia, and we end in Poznan. I've never been there before.
No.
You haven't?
Been to Swampchin? You haven't been to Kisielin? You haven't been to Silesia? You haven't been to Poznan? You guys don't know this, but Aga rides with us all the time, just rarely with her. We do interviews because usually when we're slacking off and doing interviews and chatting, Agnieszka's working hard.
Well, someone has to work so that someone else can shine here in front of the camera.
Where's my stylist? Where's my stylist? All right, Kisielin, how did you like driving here?
Really nice, a cool layout, quite a long track for such a small circuit. Because we were just at Swampchin, and it's nice there, but really it's just 2 corners and bam, 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 that's it. But here you actually get to drive a bit more. There was one hairpin, a right-hander, that was a bit tiring for me. On the 600, but it was fun.
Because here there aren't different configurations. At Swampchin there are different configurations, but here it's just one super twisty layout. Tell me, because this asphalt is very grippy, but the surface isn't perfect. How did it feel to ride on it? Did you actually feel the bumps or not really?
You know what? Sometimes you could feel it bouncing a little, the bike was working. Plus the tire was gripping really well, especially when it was warmed up. Good thing I'm in my blankets, I finally have new tires. Agnes?
As it is, Agnieszka has never ridden on new tires. Motorcycle on the track.
On this track and on new tires.
Because you don't know beginners riding on the track, I've done it. Agnieszka has done it. What do you do to get tired? You pull them out of the trash.
Yes, especially after those German track organizations. Right, I recommend it.
It's standard. Everyone just goes and digs for cord. You look for some Japanese ones there, because at first they don't wear it anyway, and you can ride on them, but the motorcycle turns differently than on new ones.
Oh, Jesus, it's terrible. I went out on new tires and suddenly I'm going into a turn and it just snaps in by itself. Yeah, it's completely different. But it's cool. Really, really cool.
When will you finally let yourself be convinced to take a ride? Tower 3? Because you've really been holding back from it.
Well, I don't have much time to ride my own Gixxer and I don't want to waste the time.
That's an unbeatable argument. In that case, we're running out of ideas for shots, so we did a ride in the mobile garage. We're done with the ride. You've probably already heard interviews with the whole crew. Let me give you a quick summary. Once again, Stary Kisielin, there are quite a few mosquitoes here. A great track, like basically everyone we've been to so far, because in general, tracks are just great. Racing tracks and centers for improving riding technique are fantastic places for motorcyclists. This track has a rich racing tradition, and now being privately owned, it's managed really well. It's open to motorcyclists practically 7 days a week. You just need to check when the track isn't reserved, but even if it is, it might be booked for motorcycle training or a track day, which still means it's a place for us. The basic information is that there's parking here, and there are even camper trailers available for rent, which is something interesting. But you can rent a camper trailer to sleep here on site. There's electricity, parking, facilities, even a bar, and there are toilets with showers, so you can really just come here and spend 2 to 3 Daltons YS, because sometimes there are even 2 to 3 Daltons Y events, saving a great time on your motorcycle. The area is beautiful, so it's worth extending your stay here, for example. There are lakes and other things like that. The prices are attractive, as you heard, starting from 40 zloty and up, but I haven't heard of any training here costing more than a few hundred zloty. I don't know about motorcycle rentals. You just have to check which of the trainings organized here offer motorcycle rentals. There aren't any available on site. That's it. Let's move on. We were in Swampchin yesterday, and the day before, today we're here, tomorrow Silesia Ring, and on Thursday Poznan, or maybe on Wednesday and Thursday Poznan. We'll see. Bye. Remember, nothing would be happening without our sponsors. That is Orlen and IEM, and who is Gładki Trans. Thank you so much. And listen, so that their money doesn't go to waste, go to the track and try out this entertainment. Seriously, I recommend it. Thank you for watching this video.